Hi, everybody. Welcome back to SecurityGuyTV.com. This is episode 2528. My next guest, Mr. Ben Skelly. He's the head of growth for Vicarius. That's vicarius.io. Mr. Ben, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you.
Now, tell us what Vicarius does. Great name, by the way, and I'm conjuring up all kinds of things in my mind, but tell us what Vicarius does.
Yeah, so the founders here were practitioners themselves. I think like a lot of great SaaS and technology solutions, they basically thought there has to be a better way, right, as they were doing this day to day, and they went out and built this tool called Topia. There's still a lot of market confusion, I think, around this vulnerability assessment and management space in general. When you say vulnerability management, a lot of people instantly go to the big scanning vendors, your Qualys, your Tenable, your Rapid7 being the big three, and they're all really great at that discovery piece, which is key because you can't fix what you can't find, right? But that's really one part of a broad, mature solution. It's the first step, knowing which assets are in your environment and which ones are vulnerable to exploitation. But then what? So our sweet spot is in kind of leveling up that maturity, taking it a step further, being able to do that discovery piece, but also let you contextualize and take action to remediate on the same platform. And that context piece is huge because the sad truth is most organizations have more vulnerabilities than they can humanly patch and mitigate. So instead of drowning in information and death by 1,000 cuts, and prioritize these potential threats based on what may be in my environment, and let's fix the critical vulnerabilities and the vulnerabilities that have active exploits first. So we're protecting what's truly vulnerable. Our tool Topia lets you do this, setting context, which is unique to your network, and letting the solution kind of do that for you to tell you both what to fix and letting you implement that fix automatically by deploying available patch for you, and then letting you track and report out this process. So it's really a mature way to attack your vulnerabilities, and it helps bridge the security and IT teams, so everyone is kind of working from that same sheet of music.
You know, you said something interesting when you termed it vulnerability management. So I come from the physical side of security. Back in the day, I worked at Fox and Disney, and we had to manage stalkers, 5,000 of them, right? So if you use the word threat management, if you're managing a threat or managing a vulnerability, you missed it because it's here, right? You want to try and get ahead of it. And I think what you're doing is building a security research community. That's the title of our show. And I think that's a brilliant way to go about it. It's almost like crowdsourcing. Am I close when I say that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the bad guys, they collaborate and they share information on exploits, right? And we think it's important for the security community, for the good guys, if you will, to kind of have a place to do the same. So saying crowdsourced security is really a good way to look at it. And that's kind of one of the things I appreciate about the leadership here at Vicarius is their willingness to focus on that, to give back to the broader security industry with these free tools and resources. So you mentioned the community aspect. So we created what's called vsociety, which is one of those kind of free resources. We describe it as a social community for security professionals to collaborate on vulnerability solutions. They can share remediation insights and just network with other peers. There's no charge. There's no barrier to entry. It's to anyone who has an interest in security and vulnerabilities, whether that be like seasoned researchers to students. The platform provides real-time info sharing and insights, networking opportunities, while also enabling thought leadership growth for those community users. And even beyond that social aspect, there's a practical use case where users are building these remediation scripts for these vulnerabilities, which we validate and then push into Tooltopia, and users can even be paid for those insights. So it really is crowdsourced security, which benefits the users, benefits the community, and of course our own solution. There's really no place like it on the internet today. I mean, obviously tons of companies build user communities, right? But vsociety is less about Vicarius and our users and more about the holistic security community, fostering those relationships expanding common knowledge. The best example where this type of interaction is happening today is probably Twitter, which does have a thriving research community, but it comes with its own set of issues and noise. And we're obviously not trying to replace Twitter, but enhancing the information and interactions that are taking place and making them actionable, which is kind of the theme here on the actioning side.
Yeah, and I took a look at the website. Let's pull it up, and maybe you can walk us through this a little bit, see how it works.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So after you join the community, which is simple, just been register with your Twitter account as well. You see we have there, if you scroll down a little bit on the right, the popularity, those are CVEs that are direct from the CVE database. These are basically the most recent and most critical vulnerabilities that are known and exist today, which you can sort the way that you choose to. And then you can post directly to the community, whether it be those remediation scripts, which we can then go in and validate and add to our own solution, and any other insights on security in general. It's just a great place to collaborate and get to know like-minded people and share your insights.
Now, I'll tell you something else it reminds me of. Technical service bulletins. Most people don't know about these, but if you type in TSB for your car, you'll find 50 things that the car companies say are wrong with the car, but not quite a recall, right? But at least you're aware of it and get it fixed ahead of time. So these CVEs are very similar to that too. So we got crowdsourcing, technical service bulletins. This is a win-win as far as I'm concerned. I don't see how this cannot benefit everybody. Yes. And when you say Vicarius now, it makes more sense, doesn't it? Because they're all participating that way.
Yes.
Touche.
Yeah, and then beyond the community we're building there with vsociety, we recently released a free integration with the open source tool Nmap, which will be familiar to, I think, most people in this security orbit. Nmap, which is short for Network Mapper. It's a free open source project that a ton of organizations use today to scan for assets on their network, which we talked about as a critical, important first step. You got to know what you have in order to manage it and fix it. Anyone can deploy Nmap, and very accurate and a reliable tool. The output it gives can be confusing to interpret, to say the least. So what we did is created an easy way for someone to take that Nmap and output, load the XML into a free version of our Topia tool, and get a clean, visualized dashboard output to kind of more simply and cleanly make sense of what's in your network and what could be available to exploit, so you can make those decisions faster. Nmap is free. Our visualization tool is free. So it's great for down market, especially at SMB teams, to secure their network without that expense that can come along with those scanning tools. It's just another solution we're trying to do to make that open source and community aspect richer and easier to interact with.
Ben Skelly, head of growth for Vicarius.io. We're speaking about building a security research community, and I think you've achieved it, my friend. Very good. And we're here talking about that at RSA 2022. So, Mr. Ben, good luck to your company. I think you've started something that's going to catch on very, very quickly.
Thanks so much, Chuck.